There are also vast differences in the way the two candidates would deal with Europe and the Soviet Union. When President Nixon sits down at the negotiating table, you can be sure he conducts himself as the leader of the greatest and strongest democracy on earth. That method of dealing with the Soviets has produced agreements on trade, on scientific and medical exchanges, and most important of all, agreements to control the deployment of nuclear weapons. Senator McGovern looks at the Soviets another way. When a writer for Fortune magazine asked what he would do if the Soviets attempted to confront him the way they did John F. Kennedy in the Cuban Missile Crisis, or President Nixon in the Middle East, Senator McGovern said, and I'm quoting, "I don't believe the Soviets would even try to test me because I think they would regard me as a friend and would do everything they could to keep my friendship," unquote. George McGovern believes that. He is not living in the real world. The Soviets do not make foreign policy decisions on the basis of whether they like or dislike Western personalities. They make foreign policy decisions on the basis of communist ideology and Soviet national interest. Anyone who thinks otherwise does not belong in the Oval Office of the White House. What Mr. McGovern does not seem to understand is that a strong military posture and a vigorous diplomacy for peace are not in conflict with one another. They are two fingers of the same hand. The stronger this nation is, the greater the guarantee that the peace will be kept, as it has been kept between the Soviet Union and the United States for a quarter century. The weaker America becomes in relationship to our potential enemies, the greater the chance of war by miscalculation. Any student of this century should know that it has not been the strength of free nations that has been the cause of war. It has been their weakness, their lack of will, their lack of purpose.